wow. This finale was very boring, but Rula girl.
Welcome to the Asia Esterak Hour, where film meets conspiracy and pop culture gets a reality check. From sharp recaps to sci-fi theories and media deep dives, Asia Esterak serves it unfiltered. Let the binge begin.
All right. Welcome back to the Asia Esterak Hour. I am Asia Esterak. All right, let's get into it. The Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Season 1, the finale, Episode 12 or 11 or whatever. All right. I'm not going in order. I really felt like this finale was pretty boring. Probably the most boring of any Housewives franchise, in my opinion. But it did get interesting at the end. So we open with them going to Block Island. It's Kelsey's trip. She's invited everybody, their husband, significant other, side piece, whatever. Anyway, so they all get there. They meet up at the ferry to take the ferry out. They get there. Block Island is very pretty, gorgeous. What was wild though, so when they first get there, they go on the beach where they're supposed to sit and I guess eat or do whatever. I guess while they're getting their rooms done. I didn't understand any of that. But and they were complaining about how cold it was out there. The sea was choppy. I was about to quote George Costanza. The sea was angry that day, my friends. Angrier than an old man returning soup in a diner. Anyway, I'm not going to Seinfeld quote y'all out. Not today. But they were all complaining about how cold it was. It was interesting. They all had blankets around them. So Rula and Brian do come. They're the last to show up before they get on the ferry, of course. So the groups are kind of split. I can't remember where Joellen and her people were at. But no, so Joellen, Rosie, and I can't remember who the third person was. They're talking to Joellen about Rula. Rula's out there with the rest of the girls on the beach talking about Joellen. Joellen's whole thing. So Rosie tells Joellen, I told her about the tape. And she walks her through the whole conversation and talks about how Brian walked up and was pissed, blah, blah, blah. It's crazy that Joellen, your entire storyline this season is somebody else's marriage. What does that say about you? It was funny. Your intentions towards this at first seemed like they were like on some genuine shit. But this episode alone made me realize you're just full of shit. You're full of it. I didn't like that at all. Because what's crazy is, because now what's going to happen is, because karma's going to get your ass back. Somebody going to fuck up your marriage, or try to at least. I mean, Rula and Brian sound like they were a hot mess long before Joellen came into the picture. But I don't think she helped situations either. But anyway, Rosie tells her, she says, you know, Rula was denying whatever was in the video, yet she hasn't seen it. And see, here's where I agree with Rosie. Rosie's like, I would want to know what's in the video. I would want to know if there was a video of my husband floating around hugging some woman with no bra on. I'd whoop my husband's ass. Not literally, but he get cussed out. And so she's like, I'd want to see it. So the consensus is Rula has not seen the video. I don't even know if she's still seen the video or not, but she hasn't seen the video, and it doesn't seem like she wants to see the video. So outside with Rula and the other girls, basically Kelsey's giving her some sound advice. She's like, listen, you have to talk to Joellen and you have to squash that. You have to let her know. Basically tell her, shut up. Stop talking shit and move past it. I hate that this whole episode revolved around them. So finally, the hotel people come out. They go up and get their rooms. Kelsey and somebody else gets a suite. Is it me? Them rooms look old as hell. The furniture look old. The linens look old. The wallpaper look old. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But okay. I stayed at a La Quinta Inn to look better than that shit on the inside. Anyway, I'm exaggerating. So they get up there, and when they first pulled up to the hotel, there was like these chairs with these chairs, and there was like candles and flowers and like in a heart around it. Anyway, Billy and Alicia go out. Billy leads Alicia outside, and he reproposes to her in a proper way, in the girly way like she likes. So now they are actually going to get married. She's going to plan her wedding. So that's cool. I feel like Alicia's the only one that came out on top, besides like Ashley and her husband. I guess Rosie did too. I don't know. I think Alicia probably had the most growth, maybe. I don't know. So that was cute. Everybody saw that. Saw them from the hotel rooms. They were yelling out to them, yelling out from the windows, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, Billy and Alicia come back in. They're in the hotel bar talking about everything that happened. Everybody else comes down. They're chatting. And of course, Rula and Brian come up again, child. So Joellen Joellen is upstairs. I'm sorry. Rula is in her room upstairs. Joellen is downstairs with them. She ends up going upstairs to talk to Joellen. Brian comes downstairs with all of them. Brian and Gary, Joellen's husband, are talking about the tape and everything going on. This blew my mind, y'all. Brian admits to the videotape being real, admits that he made a mistake, and his only thing is for Joellen to quit bringing it up and talking about it. Okay, upstairs, Rula, I keep call her Ruella. Rula is talking to Joellen, and remember, she still ain't seen the video, so she's still denying the video, basically telling Joellen, stop bringing it up, stop talking about it, I want to move on. Okay, cool. So eventually they all come down later. They go to dinner. They get to dinner. They play like this little newlyweds game, a couple of shady questions, whatever. And then there's a question that's asked that Rula pulls out that's asking like, when is the last time your spouse embarrassed you in public? She doesn't answer. We don't need her to answer. We already know the answer. So then she ends up not even answering. I think Liz brings up a question. Liz gets asked a question that she ends up bringing to Brian. So Brian addresses the group, and then Rula addresses the group. I'm sorry. So she addresses the group first and basically talks about people in her business, referring to Joellen, and how they just want to move past. Everything's going to get brushed over. I didn't like this because Rula, you know your husband ain't shit. It's apparent. And I think it's interesting that it's like you know it, but you don't like the fact that people are talking about it and you just want it to go away. Like if they don't talk about it, it's not real. I don't get it. And I really don't want to get it after what we all find out at the end of this episode. But as she starts crying at one point, and Brian starts talking, and then he has his hand like right here on her, and he's like rubbing her side and shit, and telling her how proud she is, and she didn't let her ego get in the way. Girl, run from him. Some other shit happened, but whatever. So they do the whole wrap up where they round up everybody's lives. Everybody's going on to do interesting things. Ashley and Jared still hasn't closed Audrey's. I like them. If they didn't come back to this show, that would be okay. And I think that would be okay mainly for them. I think Ashley and her husband are very non-problematic, and they just seem like sweetie pies. And I don't want them to get swallowed up by reality television hell. So anyway, Rula is the last one I do the update on. So anyway, we find out that Rula's husband, Brian, got arrested. So Rula felt like her husband was tracking her. She leases her BMW. She took it to the leasing place. They were like, we can't touch it, blah, blah, blah. You have to go to the police for tracking devices. She ends up going to the police, and they find a tracking device on her car. In the state of Rhode Island, and I think this may be a blanket across all states, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's considered DV, a form of it, and so I can't remember where it cut off, but in the state of Rhode Island, that's considered DV and stalking. So he gets arrested. It's all over the news there. So the last scene of the finale, the girls are all coming to Rula's house. The only two that don't show up are Joellen and Liz. So all the other girls are at Rula's house talking with her. She's nervous and scared. Obviously, he can't be there. And Kelsey actually says to her, like, do you feel Do you feel any type of way that Joellen had warned you about all of this and she's like on the fence about it? So back at, I think they're at Liz's house. Joellen and Liz are having a scene. This shit pissed me off. Liz and Joellen, y'all deserve each other. And I forgot to mention this because it was irrelevant because they gonna fall out again. Joellen and Liz do end up making up on the beach. That shit seems so fake to me. Liz, you say some of the most horrible shit when you're mad at somebody. Joellen, you're a weak ass bitch. Weak bitch. You're weak. The fact that you would be cool with that bitch again after the shit she said to you. And what I realized about you, you come off strong. You weak. Y'all are weaker than what you thought Alicia was. That's how weak you are. Because you thought you was better than her. I don't like Joellen. And the comment that she made in her confessional after all the shit came out about Rula and her husband talking about, what'd she say? Well, I don't care anymore. They can have each other. I tried to warn them. But you were claiming like you cared, though. You never cared. You was just being messy. And Karma's a bitch. And you're on a Housewives reality show. And the way Karma usually shows up on these shows, it usually shows up in your marriage or your business. Anyway, that was the Real Housewives of Rhode Island season 1. I enjoyed the show. Can't wait for the reunion. And I'm curious to see what season 2 will be like and who they gonna bring back. Anyway, happy Monday, you guys. Stay nice, stay hydrated, and I'm gonna go return these videotapes.